Journal entry for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. I'm very tired again. I haven't been getting enough sleep. So I'm going to try to record this and then just go to bed. So, God has really been protecting me and defending me. I'm not restored. I don't have a lot of great things happening in my life, but I have my dogs. And, my life isn't fun yet. It's very cold. I'm biking. I'm biking up the hills. I'm biking when my hands are freezing. I'm tired. I gotta deal with situations that are uncomfortable. Nothing ever works out properly. Most of the preachers don't like me. The criminals usually don't like me. At least at first, the demons in them attack me, and then actually we can have good conversations after that. But I'm not restored. It's not great, but it's getting better as. But I would be happy to be restored. So, anyways, the main person at the soup kitchen has been gone a lot. They have hardly been in the office recently, and they were there today. They did not try to talk to me or anything like that. They tried to ignore me. So I'm seeing what's going on. I don't know everything. I just learn a little bit day by day. So I already knew the people that work there are involved in trying to get me out of the soup kitchen and do things to me. And maybe they did not want it to go to the point of murder, but it has came to that. I will not be killed, but there have been many attempts on my life. So maybe they did not think it would go that far. But they don't enforce any of the rules. As I said before, there is a list of rules hanging up on the wall. Every single day, I think all of them are broken, and people just get away with it. So, anyways. Yesterday, I was given a pair of gloves. They were sitting in the office waiting for me, and right before they closed, I went and asked, I was going to ask for a pair of gloves before I went, because this finger still hurts. It's still kind of numb inside. It was so cold. It was like below zero with the wind chill. That even with two pairs of gloves on, my hands were so cold. I think this finger has damage inside. So it will heal, I imagine. But it's been a couple of days now, and it's still like kind of tingly and numb. So that's not good. It was so cold that I actually hurt my finger through two pairs of gloves. Now the one pair was not very warm. This was a pair given away by the food truck from the church. They were nice to give things away, but it was not warm things. So even though it was like stuff that would be enjoyed in the summer, for homeless people, they can't just have things sitting around. They can't use it. It gets stolen, it gets dirty, or they just can't take it with them. So, anyways, I did get a pair of gloves there, but they weren't very warm. At all. Anyways. But it was better than nothing. But some people, they want to help, but they don't know what the people need. So, anyways, I was given that pair of gloves, and there was a curse associated with it. It was sitting, waiting. The witches from yesterday morning, I told them that my dogs chewed up my warm gloves. So then they had put a pair of gently used gloves at the soup kitchen waiting to give to me. And then as soon as I left, so I got them, and then I went out the door, and then I went to the bike stand, and then there was a man standing there, and he made a comment on the gloves, letting me know this was another curse. And actually, as soon as I got the gloves, I thought, oh, the woman that works here, that was real nice how she quickly went and got those gloves, and now maybe God can bless her. But then, that was just my initial reaction, and I know it was an attempt to get me. It was supposed to be something really bad too, but it fell through. And then they thought that it might stick and I would be gone today. They thought I would be good. This is just what it looks like. With the discernment that God has gifted me, what it looks like is there was a curse tied to these gloves, and I was not supposed to be at the soup kitchen again today. So the regular manager that's over everything was there. and I saw him in the office. He didn't look at, I know that he was aware I came in. I was not there right away. So actually, I was like 5 minutes late. 5, 10 minutes late today. And I did ask God to order my steps. So sometimes I do this. Not every time, but sometimes, especially recently, I ask God to order my steps. So what happened is I ended up leaving like 5 or 10 minutes too late. And then I wasn't really stressed. Now, actually, I was about 10 minutes late probably. And it's not really late. That's just when the soup kitchen starts serving food. And then they continue serving food for more than an hour. So it's not late. But if I've got missions, I try to be there on time. I try to always show up right on time. But actually today, I was about 10 minutes late. I did ask God to order my steps. And I had a bike lock. And so, actually, I realized after I got up this tall hill, I realized I did not have my bike lock with me. And that I had left it at home. And then I was a bit concerned for just a few seconds, and then I realized I had asked God to order my steps. So this means that I am not supposed to have my bike lock. I am supposed to go to the soup kitchen with no bike lock. And whatever happens will happen. There are other things like, I'm thinking if somebody takes my bike, that might, there's a lot of things going on right now with the bicycle. The bicycle is tracked. Everyone knows where I go at all times. If somebody took the bike and then God did not protect that person, they could possibly be shot and killed. Someone thinking it's me. Or people are afraid. Now they're seeing the instant karma, so they're leaving my bike alone. So this had to be on purpose. I was so late that there's no way I was going to go back. I just got up the hill, which I don't like biking up. There's no way I was going to do that again. And then I released it. I just for a few seconds thought, like, I was a little concerned. I don't have my bike lock. I have to have a bike lock. And then, like, after a few seconds of that, I'm like, God is ordering my steps. I'm not supposed to have it. I'm still going. I did not turn around. I kept going with no bike lock. And I missed the morning sermon. So people were all in line to get their food. They probably had just got into line like a minute or two ago. But the sermon had happened before then, and I did not hear any of it. I saw the verse. The verse written on the dry erase board said Psalm 93:1. And this is funny because the recovery meeting was covering Psalm 91 yesterday, and this is Psalm 93:1. So anyways, it says, the Lord reigns, robed in majesty and armed with strength. Indeed, the world is established, firm and secure. I think this is beautiful. But the main manager has not been at the soup kitchen much at all. And the second in command is the one that gave me the gloves. And they might have thought I was not going to make it. And so he came back today. But I was there. And I didn't show up right away. I was a little late. So he gave a sermon, then went. So when he noticed, I'm sure he noticed I was there later. And he probably wasn't happy about it. He tried not to look at me or anything. It wasn't obvious, but it's like he wasn't looking at me. I just saw, like, through my side eye, he was in the office. He had not been there recently, so. I also looked at my watch 2 random times today, and I did not look at it a lot. Like, I came home after lunch, looked at my watch, and it was exactly 2:22 and I think 17 seconds. But anyways, it was 2:22 when I looked at my watch. Then when I went to the gym, and then when I looked at the timer, or when I looked at my watch again, it was 3:33. So I thought, this was definitely God. Because I had actually taken I was going to be getting my hands wet, so I'd taken my watch off for a while. I didn't have my watch on for like a half hour or so. I don't really know. But then I wasn't looking at it before then. And so when I dried my hands, I put it back on, and then when I finally did look, it said 2:22. So that is significant. I wasn't looking at it every couple minutes. When I went to the soup kitchen for lunch, I did notice the regular boss was there again. He did not engage. He was trying not to look at me, and it was trying to be inconspicuous. So then when I was looking for a place to sit, then like the guy that works there and takes the trays was like, oh, you can sit here. There's a woman sitting there, and she got up. she left, and this is like right after they were serving food. So I think she just got a to-go thing and wasn't even eating there. She was sitting there holding the seat for me, and they're like, "Oh, you can sit there." And whenever this happens, I know I'm supposed to. People, no one cares where I normally. Okay, somebody might be, "Oh, you could sit with me," or, you know, but this was something that has never happened before. Someone was holding the seat, sitting in it. Then they got up and left, and like, "Oh, look, she's leaving. You can sit here." It was an obvious setup, but it wasn't anything bad. It actually wasn't anything bad, but normally it is. Then there was people at the table, like where I was looking in front of me. There was people sitting there, and they were talking loudly so I could hear. It was really obvious, and trying to act like they were in trouble. It was almost like acting, so I could see. They probably were a little upset, but exaggerating, so to make sure I would hear. And I just sat there, and I ate my food, and I was calm. When I was done eating, another man came over too. Like, I got a coffee, and then he kind of stood between me and them and was talking, and it was like inviting me into the circle. They wanted me to talk to them, and God wanted me to talk to them, so I don't need to get into too much, but basically, they mentioned, like, they were talking about pharmaceuticals, healthcare, a certain, like, how, like, wanting to stop take these drugs, how they don't really work, how the doctor, like, there's a couple there, like, the husband apparently was born with only one kidney, and he was, like, 69 years old, and they finally told him. They didn't even know he only had one kidney until now. And then he lost all of his faith. He lost all of his faith in the medical system after that. But anyways, we were talking a bit. It started off on something else, but anyways, she said if she stopped taking her medicine, she'd lose her Social Security SSI. And she was saying for depression. I said, well, that's not right. You shouldn't lose it for depression. Did you ask to get off? And then later she admitted, so well, that's not right. She admitted, oh, no, I also have PTSD and other traumas. I'm like, oh, well, that's different. That's different. If you just have depression, you know. Anyways, but she had told me there's a lot of good mental health services. And I actually had went to one location where they have meetings, and I got their pamphlets. And there was a lot of people spying on me. They follow me. They know there's a tracker on the bike. So they, actually one person came in while I was in there. I was looking at pamphlets and taking them. And a person came in, and then they walked past. And I know they were sent in there to see what I was doing. And I was just getting materials. And so this next day, they were waiting for me. And she said, this other place is better than the one. So she didn't say the one I went to. But she said the name of it. So she did not say she knew I went there. She did not say she saw me go there, because she didn't. But there were other spies. They knew I went there. And she said, well, this place is better than that one, the one I just went to. And people saw me going to this one the day before. And so she said, this one is better. They don't make you take meds. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to write that down. I get my note out, and I write down the name of it. Because they had spies watching me, following me. There was already people around the area, so when I came near, like, they actually, some of them did not expect me to be there. There was people already at these facilities walking around outside of town, and then I came that way, and they saw me. They weren't expecting me to be there. And then there's also people that know where I'm going and follow me. So anyways, while I was in this building collecting pamphlets, someone came in, and they didn't, like, look over, like, but they would have noticed, okay? They came in after me, probably to see what I was doing, and I was getting the pamphlets. So then they scheduled, they told me where to sit in the table right in front. They were talking real loud. Come over. They start talking about pharmaceuticals, and then they start talking about this treatment facility is better than the other one. So now I got to find out where this is and go get some of their materials. This was divine appointment anyways. But yeah, they did not have faith in the medical establishment. But at the same time, for severe issues, it's like, well, if you have, like, really severe mental trauma, that is different. You might need these drugs then. You have people that maybe are suicidal or having, like, you know, complications. It's too much for them to handle, in which case maybe these drugs are better than not. And then I also mentioned, like, I knew somebody that was in a bad state and they needed help, and then And they said this place was better too. So I knew somebody. I was like, I know somebody, and they're not doing good. And they maybe knew what I was talking about, because then they mentioned, yeah, with schizophrenia, how this happens, how schizophrenia happens is normally they stop taking their drugs, they stop taking their medication, then they start to feel good. But, that's when, anyways. So, what do I got here? That's yesterday. I didn't want to make this video too long because I'm tired. And the one guy saying he had a mental health evaluation. I guess someone reported him, and then they came and talked to him. And, like, he was smarter than the person, I can totally see this, than the doctor that was sent to evaluate him. He says his daughter tells the doctor what to do. I'm not releasing secret stuff here. It was just nice to hear this. And they do get drugs, and they need them for certain, so the wife needs the drugs for her mental issues, and not for depression, because she didn't want to take it for depression. And so you don't need to take it for depression. They won't kick you. They shouldn't just tell them you don't need it. She's like, well, I also have these other mental conditions. Wait, that's different. You probably should be on your medication for that. So it was kind of funny. But she's kind of like this. I've seen that behavior before. But anyways, it was meant to happen. It was a pretty decent conversation. And then, actually, when I was on my way to the soup kitchen, I saw this yesterday too. There's a man on a bike, and he's like kind of like at the top of the hill where there's a light, and so yesterday I saw him kind of go like across the street and then back. So he was watching. Like, nobody does this for fun. It's 10 degrees outside. So anyways, he was watching, because he went across a few times. Nobody plays outside on a bike when it's 10 degrees. So, and then I think I saw the same person today. And, they just went across when I was coming. So I don't know if this is a signal. They're waiting until they see me and then they leave. Also, when I was talking to these people, I mentioned Planet Fitness and being a great place to go and get a shower. And maybe they will appreciate that. Maybe they'll use it. So, and I said, I'm going to go to Planet Fitness here in a bit too. As I left to go to the gym, actually I stopped at home first. I did some stuff at home, played with my dogs, and then I went to the gym. And while I was on the way to the gym, there was a man on a bike. And then he came up right next to me, and he says, it's a good weather today because it was in the 30s instead of 10 degrees. And he said, a good day for a bike ride. And I said, oh yeah. And I was actually while I was biking, I was taking my glove off and putting it in my pocket. And I said, yeah, it's almost hot out here today, because it was like 30 something. Because it was so cold the day before. This finger is damaged. This finger hurts. It's not frostbite, but like inside it hurts. I don't know what's going on. Like, I think I maybe got some like ice crystals in the middle of my finger or something. Anyways. So they were waiting, they were watching. They now have a man on a bike, a man who stays on the bike to see when I'm coming. So they know. I already told someone I'm going to Planet Fitness. So, but I didn't go right away. I actually stopped at home, and I left like maybe an hour later or something. And then he came up behind me and was going faster. At that point, I was taking my glove off, like, and putting it in my pocket with my one hand. I wasn't going very fast, and then he was past him. I don't normally see this. I'm normally the only person out. Like, you might see more people if it's the summertime or it's good weather. In the winter, you don't see a lot of people biking, and not for fun. I mean, I thought it was good weather today, but for most people that don't bike in the winter, 30 degrees is still not good weather to bike. So then when I got to the gym, there were some agents in there again, like there always are. But I'm kind of thinking, like, God uses everything for good. Because some of these people, like, maybe they're in a bad situation. They don't have access to a shower. They don't have a lot of money. They're coming in. They're seeing the amenities at the gym and how affordable it is. So it's kind of good. So while I was in the gym, I have seen a lot of people. It looks like a lot of people are signing up at Planet Fitness. Like, they should give me a free membership for life, because I saw a ton of new people in there. And it's because they're coming into the gym to spy on me. So they're getting memberships. It's like, 30 people have now signed up for this gym because I go there? And they're like, so you're going to Planet Fitness? So they send their people to the gym to spy on me. and they're getting memberships there. Oh well, God knows. God will take care of it. But anyways, like when I was in the massage chair, then a woman came in and then like the employee was telling her about the hydro massage and how it works, and I could tell that she was kind of a criminal woman, um, just by like the voice and the way that she looked. Um, she wasn't necessarily homeless, but she could have been. I don't think she was, but like there's just a certain way where we can discern in the spirits. God shows me like to where it's obvious if somebody is kind of like a little bit criminal or something, but she wasn't extremely so. I don't know. Maybe just like a normal criminal or something, or somebody with that type of past. And she was coming in, and she was being polite and respectable and stuff. I'm not saying that, but God allows some of us to discern the spirits, and so one reason why is so I know what's going on. So I don't think it necessarily looks this way to other people, but I'm sitting in the massage chair. She comes in, looks like kind of a criminal woman, somebody that would try to get me, is what I'm saying. And the employee's like showing her that, and is like, oh, and we got tanning, and we got all this stuff here too. And for your membership, you can use all of these things. And I think she was impressed with all you get for less than $1 a day. So, anyways, she was sent in. Like, they're trying to spy on me. What's the source of your power? Or like just mess with me at the gym. And they come to the gym and they get to try out the massage chairs, and like, here's a place to put your stuff in a locker. Here's a shower. Here's, massage chair. So they end up, I think, liking it. But anyways, I had to go to the bathroom, and I put my not my bag with my money or anything. I don't have money, but not my bag with like my ID in it, but my regular bag that I just put like stuff in that's not that important. I actually had like a Bible and excuse me. I had like the Bible and the Book of Mormon and like my gym stuff in this other bag and like my bottle of water. And so I put that in the locker because there wasn't anything that valuable for anyone to steal. I'm just going to say, like, there wasn't anything really anyone would want to steal. The Book of Mormon was in there. They gave that to me. It was free. The Bible was in there. They gave that to me. It was free. I mean, I did have like a little booklet that I wrote some stuff on, but anyways, I went to the bathroom, but I wasn't in there long. I was just going number one, okay? So they didn't have very much time. But they still messed with, so I never lock it. Because I don't put, like, anything too valuable in there and leave it. So I basically just left my large coat and then my bag that had stuff that was, like, free or inexpensive. So it wasn't anything somebody would want to steal. But then they mess with it because they have their agents come in and they will be in the bathroom, or they see like, oh, I come out of this, I go to the bathroom. They follow me, and then they see where my locker is, and they mess with my stuff. And I use the same lockers every time, and they know this, but I do, so I know where my stuff is. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyways because God has allowed them to. So it doesn't matter if I pick a different locker or not. They already spy on me. If I put it in another locker, they're probably like through spirits watching me and would figure it out anyways. So anyways, they did not have a lot of time. And what happened is somebody had went to my bag, and I had my bike light in there. They turned on my bike light, which actually has got powerful LEDs in it, and the batteries drain real fast. And they had turned it on. So then after I went to the bathroom, I took my bag and I went and used a massage chair. And then it was dark back there. And then I could see a light coming from inside of my bag. And so then I opened it up and I knew my bike light had to be on. And so then I turned it off, and it had like 35% charge left. So had I not turned it off, the bike light would have been dead, and then it would not have worked in the evening, and I needed it. So they were trying to drain my bike light, so it would be dangerous for me to get home in the dark. And so I couldn't do anything else. And so I caught it in time, and I turned it off. It had enough charge left if I needed to put it on my bike to get home. But it was not enough to go other places too. So maybe this was another message from the Lord. So yeah, they just went, and this is what they do. Like they broke one of my pens, like unscrewed it one time, and they do stuff like that. They don't do anything horrible, but it's like, I don't know if it's supposed to scare you or like let you know what they're capable of. I don't know, but they just turned on my bike light to drain the batteries so that I wouldn't have a light on my bike at night. I mean, that's what I'm saying, and I just mentioned about that. Um, let's see. Today I did not have a bike lock, and actually I had a chance to go back home and look for it, and I chose not to. This whole day I said I'm not going to use a bike lock. There's several reasons. Okay, number one, there is a tracker on my bike, and they don't want anyone else to take my bike. They want to spy on me. So the Kingdom of Darkness does not want to take my bike. They want me to ride the bike so they know where I am because they're watching me. Okay, but actually, number two, the bike is not in good shape. This is a crappy bike. It does not look like something you would want to steal. Like, there's a chunk taken out of the seat. The frame is decent, but it's still not in great shape. But, like, clearly the brakes have been fixed, and then there's, like, little zip ties around it holding them on. And, uh, and it's a little rickety, and then, like, the handlebars are just metal rods because somebody has pulled the rubber handles off. So, it does not look like anything you would want to steal. Like, you wouldn't even take off the seat to steal it because it's, like, got a piece missing from it. Like, right in the front, the chunk is missing. And other stuff, it's just a little rickety. So this is good. And also the tires. No one would even want to steal those because they're kind of bald. And I don't know if they're starting to get cracks in it. I'm sure it will last. God will make sure this lasts when I need it. But I'm saying is that there's no value in the tires. They're at the end of their life. There's no value in the bike itself, really. I mean, like, the handlebars don't even have grips on it, is what I'm saying. The normal grips that come on it have been taken off. It's like somebody took everything functional off of the frame. Anyways, so no one wants to mess with it because it's not good enough. Also, it has a tracker on it, so they want me to have this. And what's going on here? Yeah, actually, for lunch, too, when I was talking to these people, we were talking for a bit, and I said, I'm going to go check my bike. I said, I forgot my bike lock today. I'm going to go check and make sure it's there. And then there was a man standing there, and this was a black man. This is one who has not been there often. So maybe he was a part of the gang, which probably now has been disbanded. I think the gang has, and doesn't mean there's still not killers being sent, but I think the gang has mostly been disbanded. And I think maybe he was brought in and was a part of that gang, just because I don't really recognize him. And he was talking to a different group of people, so that normally don't talk to him. But he was talking to them, and geez, what was I even saying? And he said, "Oh, no one's gonna mess with your bike." Or he said that just kind of quickly. And then I realized what all goes into that. They know what karma people get. They know if people try to mess with my bike before or anything else, what happens to them. They have seen instant karma from people messing with me. He's like, oh, no one's going to mess with your bike. And I was like, yeah, that is a confirmation there. Maybe they now understand. When they mess with me, they get instant karma. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go back and get my lock. I'm going to use it all day and not put a lock on it. And at the gym, like, the bike is not good enough to steal. I'm just going to say. But actually, as I was leaving lunch, someone else's bike was flipped upside down with one of the tires taken off. And then there was a couple that looked like a little nicer going in. And I'm like, look at that. Somebody's bike was just flipped upside down and they took the tire off. I said, look at that. I said, if you're going in, they got a camera on these bikes. If you're going in, you might want to tell them somebody's tire's been stripped. And then the guy was like, oh yeah, I just got. He said that he had gotten like a brand new bike and it was locked and everything, and then it was left at the soup kitchen overnight, and the bike was taken or everything was stripped from it, like it was destroyed. And I think it was probably a man and his wife going in, just because the way they looked like good people, not criminals. And they were maybe like in their 50s or something. and they were walking in, and then I saw the bike, and I was like, look at that, someone just took the wheel off of this. You might want to tell them in the office. And then they were like, oh yeah, yeah, and they mentioned they had like a brand new bike, it was locked, and then either the frame was still there and all the tires and everything were taken off of it. So this happens at the soup kitchen, and these were good people, and that was probably to keep them out. So there's kind of a thing going on where somebody is not a criminal or an addict, then they would not be welcome, and they would be messed with until they don't come back. This is what kind of like what happened to me, but then I just kept coming back. I don't know. But they were there that day. I had not seen them before. When I came back for dinner, that bike frame was not there. So I wonder what has happened. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, I said what happened at Planet Fitness. There were spies there. They turned on my bike light, but I caught it in time to have enough light to get home. Um, I saw more new people. I saw new people in the gym the last 3, 4 times I've went, if not more. New people that I never saw before coming in, and they look like criminals. They had criminals sitting at the table. Probably the staff notices this too. Maybe I should tell them. Yeah, they're coming in here to get me. But also, if you guys are getting a whole bunch of new signups, you're welcome. um, anyways, for dinner, let's see. Yeah, I biked back, and I did not stop to get my lock. I just left it unlocked, and I just kind of tossed it in the thing. I noticed the serial killer guy's bike was there for lunch, but then of course he was gone when I left. I did not see him there for dinner. He's trying to hide, he's trying to cover his face and stuff, so he is, I think, more concerned about me than I am about him. I'm actually not very concerned right now, but now I think he's quite concerned. So whatever has flipped. Um, let's see, so there's something that happened the last dinner and this one, and I think this started right after I said in front of Larry. So Larry said something very rude, like, yeah, you can't kill her. He was saying that at the Salvation Army dinner. He said that to his friend he was sitting with, and he didn't say who, but I knew he was talking about me. I knew he was talking about me, because I was there. And they don't, why, how is she still here? I know. I didn't hear anything else, but he just made that comment. Yeah, you can't kill her. Yeah, you can't kill her. You just gotta, something like, I forget exactly. And then I remembered that. So then the next day, then I said in front of him, and then he's the one, he messes with the bikes. He gets paid to mess with the bikes. He was sitting behind me, and I just said it so he could hear. And then he went and tattled in the office, and he told the second in command at the office, and then, he told, because I also said, there's people in the office are guilty too. They pay him or they know what's going on and let him do it. So he went in the office and tattled. And so then the second in command gave me the curse gloves, and then they thought I would be gone and dead and not coming back. So the regular manager came back today. Oh, surprise, surprise, I was back. And I really don't know what you intended, because I do get cursed, but I mean, I'm still here. I don't know what they intended to happen to me, because whatever it was did not happen the way that they expected. But since then, since Larry went and tattled, they did a new thing. They were having the addicts and criminals from the regular soup area. So these aren't volunteers. They're people that get the meal. They were coming behind the counter and serving the food the last 2 days. And this is since the woman in the office knew that I knew. She was bringing in people to serve the food. And then they were so day before, I think it was the fisherman guy, and he gave me 2 brownies instead of 1. Like, he acted like he tried to break them apart and he couldn't. So he gave me 2, and I didn't even like brownies, and they had nuts in it. I didn't even eat all of it. I don't really like that. But then he put it on my tray, and I'm like, oh, thank you, like I always do. And I looked at it. It's like, at that point, there wasn't really much I could do. I had my tray out to get my brownie, and then he put 2 instead of 1. I guess I could have yanked it away real quick and like made a big scene, but I didn't. It would have been inappropriate. I just assumed this is probably supposed to happen. Okay, so they normally do not do this. And so they were having people that normally just sit and eat, they were having them come behind and serve. Um, so this was to get me, because then when fishermen served me 2 brownies, then they were able to do a curse on me. And today there was the woman, maybe the first person I spoke to when I came to this soup kitchen. And she does not like God, and she's got a lot of trauma, and she likes to I think she likes to fight or something, but she's not that scary or intimidating or anything. She's kind of silly, like. But anyway, she was behind there serving the fruit, and she um, was being real nice, and she put 2 big, huge scoops of fruit on my tray, which was extra, giving me, of course I wanted fruit, giving me a free gift of 2 scoops of fruit instead of 1. This is what they do to curse you. Like, seriously, I already know this. But I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I figured, I thought about it, and I said, it might be cursed. And then I continued. I'm not going to go cry over it. There's nothing you can do. It's already done. So, and I actually was happy to have the extra fruit. There wasn't a whole lot of food, and there weren't seconds, so I'm really glad to have that fruit. So then I went and I sat in the back. The guy, the Chinaman, who does not look Chinese. Anyways, maybe they genetically engineered him so he would look American. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. He made a joke about being China. So they genetically engineered him. His English is great, but it has kind of an accent still. Like a Chinese accent behind it. It's weird. Like, just the way of speaking is different. Um, so I did like this man, but I don't know whether he's good or bad. But he could just be neutral. I think he's an agent sent to retrieve. He's sent to get information from me, and that's why I said, like, and you can, in this stuff, you can take it back to your people. This is funny. Anyways, but he liked the answers, so that's good. But he wasn't there. I went to sit in the back where he normally sits. He wasn't there today. And so then the man who had hit on me, and I gave the candle holder, okay? And then he went and he hugged me the other day, and I'm like, I am not threatened or intimidated, okay? But he is quite a bit younger than me, and he seems quite a bit younger than me. So I don't want to be mean, but I already told him in the beginning that I'm not. So I think he knows this too. But anyways, I got the 2 scoops of fruit, so I was cursed, and he came over, and he sat down after a minute, and so I was eating for like maybe 5 minutes or so. Then he comes and sits down, and he starts talking to me and stuff, and like, then there was people next to me too, and they're like saying like how you're calm and how you're not concerned. How are you not concerned? He's like, when you lost everything and you don't like, and he was saying this like, how can you not? And then I was saying, because because whatever you lose, and God's going to restore it. Like, so if you lose something, then God gives you like double. So the more you lose, the more you get. And he said, oh, his mom was telling him that too. So I mean, I kind of like it. Here's the thing, like, he was sent to attack me, but he didn't attack me. We just talked a little bit. And then eventually, like, there wasn't much else to say, and I was done, and I left kind of early. I left at like 5 or something instead of 5:30, because they weren't calling seconds. They weren't calling seconds, and, there wasn't really anything else. Like, it looked like the conversation was wrapping up, and then I started to get up to go. And then the woman who served the fruit came up to him, and I'm kind of like going over to the side to leave. The woman who served the fruit was like, what are you doing? She said something like that to him. She sent him to try to get me. So this is the thing. He has, I believe, been made an ally, and he is a nice man. But he is trying to get me, okay? And he like hugged me like, that's my girl, the other day. So I think maybe he did like me, but initially it was an attack. And I think after he sees I'm nice and I've given him a few things, then he actually does like me. But maybe he likes me because he wants someone to be nice to him, and then, you know what I mean. And then he is attracted to someone just being polite to him. But he was sent to attack me. So the fruit he was supposed to come and probably try to hit on me again or something. I don't know. But he didn't hit on me. We just talked a little bit, like, and you've lost all this stuff, and you like how are you so calm? Like, how are you not concerned? And I said, I got my bike out there and it's not locked. There's no one's going to take it. And like, how are you not concerned? And then, we just talked a couple minutes. I finished eating and then I was going to leave. And then the fruit woman comes up. She's like, what are you doing? Like, trying to have him go back and try to get me more. And he was like, he didn't even, I'm going to say, if there's some karma thing, he did not attack me. He did not. If he was sent to attack me, and he did not attack me. He just sat down and we talked a little bit, and then he left. It was not inappropriate. It was fine. So he didn't. And she was like, why didn't you do something else? He likes me, like, and I think he just likes me as a person, like, because I'm nice to him and stuff. So, uh, so he actually was sent to get me, and he didn't. He didn't. He just, to make it look like he was getting me, he talked to me a little bit, but he didn't get me. He didn't try to get me. And then he was like, whatever, and I don't know. I didn't stay long enough to see, but she was trying to get him to do more, and he didn't. So that was good. And I enjoyed the extra fruit. Thank you for the extra fruit. Um, let's see. So, this is something I almost forgot. The day before, um, when I got the cursed gloves, and I was given a ride, and then I also took a candy cane. I took a lot of items from people, and they were all going to be curses. I just took them anyways. I took them all. Take them all. Come on, give them here. Actually, can I have this? Can I have the extra? The ride without paying for was another gift. So none of their little attacks will, none of them will prosper. None of them will take me out, basically. Um, but the woman there, which is weird because she tries to get me. She tries to do a death curse. But then she also talks to me, and it seems like she likes to talk to me. So it's weird. Anyways, she told me where she lives. She said, like, this street and this street, and then it's this color, and it's across from this building, just to make sure I absolutely knew where she lived and what it looked like. And so I got out of the soup kitchen a little earlier tonight, and it wasn't dark yet. And then I thought, I'm going to go, because it's like sort of on the way home. I just go down a couple more blocks and then back. But I'm going to go see where she lives. She just told me the day before, and I just thought of it. So this was supposed to be an attack. So then I see the house, and I bike, and I'm like, I think this is it. It was kind of brown more so than beige. But anyways, and I biked around it, and it was like a larger multi-unit house. But it was a nice-looking house. She probably rented there. And I didn't go up and knock on the door or anything. I saw a couple people coming out, though. I could have went and asked them. I did not. This was inappropriate. I don't know them. They don't know me. Maybe they don't know her either. I mean, they probably know of her, but what I'm saying is that just for me, some stranger to show up, they have no idea who I am. I wasn't going to go back. But I just went, I saw the house, and then I decided to go, because it's on the corner, I was going to go around the block and take a look at the property on my way back. Because I have to go back around anyways to get back on my street. And then there is a man back, like, as I'm going along the block, there is a man back there. He's standing, like, outside. And then he says something. He's like, hey, do you need something? Or what's going on? Or something. And then, so then I bike towards him. And so this is what looks like a homeless man. And he has got some type of thing, like I don't want to say an RV, or like a tiny trailer or something makeshift. And then he's got like a bunch of garbage and stuff there. So he is homeless, but has made a shelter. And has like some type of motorized bicycle thing. And so I just talked to her, like, and I didn't want to talk to him, but he called me. So I know this is always a divine appointment when this happens. I was like way over on the corner of the block. He's way over there. And then he called, and then he says something. So then I go over there. And I said, do you know this? I said, this person said they lived here. Do you know of them? And then I tried to describe this person. He'd had no idea. So maybe she really did live here, and she knew this man was going to be here, or they all worked together. So the man was there. The man was a homeless man, and he was not trusted. He's not, He's probably on drugs too. But anyways, and I go over there, and he wasn't being rude or anything at that point, but you know, he wanted to know what I was doing. Apparently, this is his home, his little shelter. It was way back, and I said, "Do you know this person?" They said they lived here, and then he didn't. And he said, "There's something going on over there. There's always something going on around here. There's something going on over there." And he points, and like a block away is a vehicle just stopped, and there's people on the ground under it. And I said, "Oh, okay." So then I bike over there. Because when he did that, that's another signal. Okay, this is part of the mission. I bike over there, and then there's two guys like under this vehicle, and they said, "Hey, you okay? You need any? Are you doing okay?" And then they just like look over for a split second and said, "Do you have a pair of pliers?" And I said, "Oh, not on me, no." And then they got back to it. They were trying something like their vehicle wasn't working, and they needed pliers to fix it. Yeah, I don't know. But then I biked back to the man, the homeless man in the shelter. And now there was a vehicle stopped in front of him too. And then he was like at the vehicle. And so he was like, "Something's going on over there." So I biked over and I said, they need some pliers to fix something. And this car it was there was something weird on the back. So they probably did need pliers. And then I went back there and I said, and he was kind of like standing right next to a car. I couldn't tell if he was talking to them or listening or anything. And I said that they need some pliers. Their car's broke. Those people across the street, their car's broke and they need some pliers. And then he's sitting down there and he's like, "Oh, they're probably just trying to like steal and break more stuff And I said, their cars, but they need some pliers. Do you have some pliers?" And then he's like kind of talking to someone in the car. And like, so he's not trusting anyone. He's not trusting anyone. And so they need some pliers to fix it. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing over here anyways? What are you doing over here anyways?" And then I'm like, "Are you talking to me?" Because I couldn't really tell if he's talking to the person in the car or me. Like, "Oh, I thought I'd come over here." Or like, "What are you doing over here? What are you doing over here?" And I said, I'm trying to remember exactly what I said. It's not going to be exact because I can't remember verbatim. But like, I'm out here like to help people. To help people. And so I don't have any money, but see if somebody needs some help. And he's like, "How can you help people without money?" And I said, "There's a lot of ways to help without money. So you need food. They got food over there. There's a lot of ways to help without money." I said, "Those people need some." Not at this point. I didn't say it then, but I had already said they need some pliers to fix their car. And there's a lot of ways you can help without money. So he was kind of like this, like not happy and like "What are you doing over here?" And then and I thought about it a second. I'm like, "So I'm here to help people." and I said, "I don't have any money, but if someone needs some help, you can't help people without money." I just had mentioned like twice here that they need some pliers. They need some pliers to fix their vehicle. And then it's just kind of ignoring it and pretending not to listen. And so I imagine this car that rolled up is like maybe he's trying to buy drugs or something. and, and then I had said, so this is probably a setup to try to get me killed once again. But it's like, "Well, what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm here to help people." And I said, "Yeah, I had a lot of my stuff so I don't have any money. A lot of my stuff was broken and stolen." He said, "You can't help people without money." And actually, there's a lot of ways you can help without money. And then I mentioned again, they need some pliers over there. And then I start to slowly bike away. And I think he's talking to me again and trying to say something. And then I just kind of look back and then I just bike away. So that was pretty cool. Like, God did this right. Because I couldn't really tell if he was talking to me or not. But then I think he was. Because of my hearing and stuff. Because my ears get clogged very easily. I, like a Sharpei, have very small ear canals. So anyways, when I am congested, it's hard to hear. And so then he's like saying something, probably complaining again. I think he was complaining again. Because he has been done wrong. So he has lost faith in humanity. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing here?" I'm like, Oh, I'm here. I think I'm here. I didn't say I think. I said, like, I'm here to help. To see if somebody needs some help. To help people. To help people. And so maybe he needed to hear this. Oh, there's somebody out here. They don't have anything, but they're here to help people. Oh, they need some pliers. This guy had his shelter, and he had like a bunch of garbage and stuff. So I knew he had to have some pliers in there. But anyways, and then he's kind of like this or something. He said a few other things. I couldn't hear what he was saying, and I just biked off. I just looked back. So he was saying something. I looked back, looked at him, and it just slowly rolled off. And so now he had been told a couple times their car's broke down. They need some pliers. And there's a lot of things you can do to help that don't cost. So I'm thinking this is what the devil had done. Is they probably knew that this guy buys drugs back there. He's outside. He's going to buy drugs at this time, and then I'm going to come up, and then they're going to want to kill me, or something. Which they're not. They're not going to. And what I'm saying is, this is what I think the plan was. Here's my house. Come see it. This is exactly where it is. And here's the guy buying drugs right behind it, or something. I don't know. And then so I'm here to help, and they need some pliers over there. And then I leave, and so I was not killed. And I think God did this. This is a chance for this man to see that not everyone is out to hurt others, and that he might. I prayed too that he be inspired to bring some pliers over there. So you saw they're probably just going to try to break and steal more things. you know. Yeah, most people do. I know. Like, even people that will like you later, they always get you first. So I know. And this is a smart way to think of that too. But he didn't he was too extreme in his thinking. Yeah, that is true. Most people do just want to steal and break your stuff. Uh, but I'm thinking that, like, after I left, I did pray, like, if he can go over, that he be inspired to do that. And so hopefully he went over, and he had I know he had to have some pliers, because he had his own little rig set up with a lot of stuff there around it. So I knew he had to have some pliers. I did not have any on me. I just went to the soup kitchen. Excuse me. So I'm hoping that after I left, he found some pliers, and he went over there and was able to help them get their car fixed, and maybe they thanked him and even gave him some money. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm just theorizing here. But anyways, I heard there was supposed to be a recovery meeting. Someone mentioned it a few days ago. They said it was some place, but then I tried to look it up earlier, and I didn't know where it was. And then I said to God, like, if you want me to go, have someone else tell me. And no one else mentioned it, so maybe it's a next week thing. Maybe it's not for this week. I biked home, and I kind of just, like, stayed in tonight, and dinner wasn't very big, so I got a bunch of boxes of cereal at the food pantry. They did not give me milk, though. I think they were supposed to, and because of that, it's not really good. But I'm eating it, and it's making me feel sick the next day, but then I wanted something, so I ate a bunch of cereal, and let's see. So some stuff happened, but I didn't go anywhere else this evening. I didn't talk to anyone else. I kind of just relaxed a bit, and I'm going to go to sleep. It's almost 11:30 now. There was a few things I think I forgot yesterday, which I wrote down. So they were trying to get me, trying to do death spells. I canceled all of them. Giving me the gloves, trying to do more. So what they sent me, like, to be in the middle of a drug deal or something. Like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm to help people. To help people. They need some pliers over there, and I leave. It's like, you were trying to get me to be killed, but it didn't work, so. Anyways, one thing that I noticed is there's somebody that goes to the soup kitchen, and they look like they're very poor, and they look like they're broke. But maybe they are not. I saw something that was suspicious. And I know that some people, I don't need to say too much, but, well, monitoring spirits, I forbid you from listening to this. If you hear this, you may not tell anyone else in the kingdom of darkness. You must immediately forget this information. Evil spirits, you're not allowed to record this information or forward it to the kingdom of darkness. So there is an old man at the soup kitchen. He has a long beard, and he seems like a nice guy, not evil. And he looks like he's poor, and he walks, I think he has a cane. I think I was heading to the soup kitchen, and I was either a few minutes late or it was dinner and I didn't go for lunch. I think, oh yeah, that's what it was. So yesterday would have been Tuesday. So I did not go for lunch. I was going for dinner, and I was there a couple minutes early. I think that's it. And I saw him like putting his hood on and tightening it up, as if he had not been outside walking. And he was next to a different parking lot. So it looked like he was driving a vehicle and parking it in a parking lot and pretending to be a poor homeless person. But that's just what it looked like. Because you wouldn't be putting on your hood and cinching it up like, right, like a block from the soup kitchen at a parking lot. It was less than a block. But they have a parking lot right next to the soup kitchen and across the street. It was behind that, so it was a different parking lot. That's more for like employees, so it was like trying to hide. It looked like if he had a vehicle, he was trying to hide that he had a vehicle. That's what I'm saying, so. But he actually was saying like how gross pigs were and not to eat pigs and stuff. Or like he saw pig farms and how disgusting they were, so that was good. But, yeah, I guess some things happened. I showed up late. And that was actually probably good, because then when the main person that runs the soup kitchen came out, I wasn't there. He was relieved, gave a speech. And then later I came in, and it was like, I didn't see an expression, I didn't see him look, but I know he had to notice me, and I know that he was not expecting it, because he has been missing. He has not been coming to the soup kitchen recently, and this is unusual, and many people were wondering about this. And so he was there today. After I got the gloves, I guess and several people tried to do death spells on me, and you just gotta counter them all. I countered them all, God help me. I countered them all, and then, I'm still alive. And so they were surprised that I showed up today. But I don't really remember somebody actually trying to kill me yesterday. They could have. I mean, cops are always getting people. So there could have been somebody like a few blocks from my house waiting to murder me, and then the cops got them. But, yeah, they were not expecting me to be there. And then I didn't go to another AA meeting this evening. I didn't go to another recovery meeting, even though there was one this evening. I didn't know where it was. I mean, they told me, like, I thought I heard the name, but I wasn't exactly sure, and then I tried to look it up, and I couldn't tell where it was, so I just came home, and now I'm gonna go to bed. So God bless you. Thanks for watching.